What's up, visionary?
What's good?
Welcome to another Open Relationships. I'm Cyan. I'm joined by my wonderful husband.
Good morning.
And we hope you're doing well as usual. Have you ever had just a quiet moment with your partner? You haven't? Have you ever just had that moment where y'all having, a little bit of a little altercation, a little argument, a little disagreement? Just sitting there, just quiet, like they don't really express how they feel or, want to talk about the situation or the disagreement. Have you
No.
had that? Why? You don't think I do this?
Nah, you do that sometimes. No, but you're not used to just go dismiss them, don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that ain't really being quiet. Okay, well, you might experience that in your relationship. You might not, but that's what we're talking about. We're going to discuss what to do when your partner becomes quiet. Because this is a common thing.
Yeah, I know it probably increased during the pandemic.
Yeah. Spending all that time together.
Got real quiet.
Agreed. Okay, so when your partner becomes quiet, it's important to understand the difference between normal silence and concerning withdrawals.
Yeah, that's a big difference. Sometimes you be just quiet.
Yeah, sometimes you just be a quiet person.
It's like even with doing conflict, sometimes you can be conflict avoidant, so you don't say as much because you don't want to say nothing that you might regret.
And sometimes I guess it's best to be quiet in that context. Yeah. All right, and sometimes you might have went through something in your childhood or something that you just makes you a quiet person, like to where you need help. Okay, so communication breakdowns affect a majority of adult relationships, believe it or not. So this is a common issue, like I said, that many couples face.
It's about 50% of marriages are in it with poor communication at the forefront.
Yeah. So let's explore strategies to help you reconnect with your partner during these challenging times. Times of concern withdrawals and discuss evidence-based approaches to reveal open and honest communication.
The goal of this webinar, this little, I guess our chit chat, is really to empower you with some tools to help you bring your partner together so you won't be pulling away.
Ultimately, to strengthen that relationship. Yep. Okay, so
they call it quiet quitting.
Quiet quitting. Let's discuss quiet quitting a little bit. It's in a relationship, it refers to a gradual embarkment, even while they remain physically present.
It goes back to the old song that say, your body's here with me, but your mind is on the other side.
Yeah. I remember that one. I remember that one, but exactly. Your partner may seem detached, uninvolved, and lack motivation.
And this mostly will come from men. Now, see, when a woman do it, that's really a problem.
Yeah.
Especially long period of time.
Yeah, because women, we like to talk a little bit.
Yeah. But the man, normally this could be, like I said, it could be signs of concern, or it could be signs of an area that you need, you can improve on to really enhance the relationship.
Yeah. 3 keys. There are 3 key signs to watch out for that are emotional. That is emotional detachment, a lack of initiative, and decreased motivation from your partner. So not only are they emotionally detached, meaning they don't want to talk to you, they don't want to do anything.
They don't want to go nothing. They don't want to initiate
nothing. They don't want
nothing.
any hugs or kiss. They just emotionally detached. They lack initiative.
Yeah.
They never ask you if you want to do something.
Or you okay? You can say,
are you okay?
Was your day good? They can say, they're not going to say, was your day, mine was good. How about yours? They're not going to say that. They're going to just say, they're just going to answer the question. All those are signs that somebody is kind of not only emotionally withdrawn, but pretty much been checked out of the relationship.
And then, last but not least, they have decreased motivation. Like they ain't really motivated to grow in a relationship or nothing.
They're not ambitious.
They're not ambitious.
They're not ambitious. But here's the thing: it's important to quickly recognize these signs early, because the longer you postpone being attentive, then you're gonna damage the relationship further. So have the open conversations early so you can understand so you can address these concerns early, and not be somebody who's coming on YouTube or on TikTok talking about I'm getting divorced after 20 years, or I'm getting divorced after 15 years because my partner withdrew and I wasn't attentive and paying attention and I didn't see it coming, nor did I do anything to correct the situation.
Mm-hmm. Changes in communication, like reduced sharing of feelings, memories, important thoughts, can often indicate problems. Okay, those are also a red flag. Conflict patterns either are avoiding disagreements entirely or arguing over little bitty minor issues.
Yeah.
When a partner's putting in a minimum effort to maintain a relationship, it's a sign, again, that they checked out. Sing that song again for us, baby.
But your mind is on the other side of town, messing me around.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that one. Okay. Okay, also, withdrawal is an emotional defense. It's an emotional defense mechanism that people use to protect themselves. So, check to see if your partner withdrawn from you emotionally, because it's an emotional defense mechanism.
And what?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I want to hear you.
I wasn't saying nothing. Okay. Attentive to this, then all of a sudden we realize resentment starts building up in the relationship, because unexpressed concerns builds bricks between y'all connection, and it's going to lead to withdrawal, and it's going to eventually be the straw that broke the camel's back, as they say. It's going to end a relationship.
Yeah.
So we got to try to avoid emotional vulnerability. We got to avoid emotional vulnerability in some kind of way.
Avoid emotional vulnerability.
Yeah. Avoid not being emotional available. My bad.
Okay. Your partner may not even realize that they are emotionally withdrawn. So again, that's why it's important for you to be aware. Yeah. It can be an unconscious process. They just, not meaning to do.
Yeah. And that's why we say I think it's so essential that we kind of, if I'm in a relationship, then I think I want to kind of learn to be in a relationship. I think it's so essential that people, because if you don't, then you're going to fail it. You're going to fail it. Yeah. I mean, it's no doubt. Even if you had somebody, like I said, even if you had somebody to look at, I know a lot of people, I had role models. Even a role model you had to look at, most people don't know what they did. And it's hard to know what they did unless you ask them questions. So you might have somebody to look at, but you don't know the ins and outs, what it takes, unless you ask the question and find it.
Yeah. Doing relationships and turning them into a marriage is definitely a skill.
Yeah.
It's a skill. You gotta have tools.
Yeah.
You gotta know, like you just said. Avoiding emotional vulnerability is a way to prevent potential hurt, but it can also damage the relationship.
That's why I said you gotta be emotionally available. You don't want to hide your emotions behind the walls.
Yeah. So, effective communication is always key. It's always the key to building strong, healthy relationships. Sound like we're just reading off our book. Right there. All right, the first step is to create a safe, comfortable environment for the conversation.
And one comfortable environment for the conversation is to put on maybe you stumbled across this video right here. This can be the ground that opens up the door to conversations like this. Sometimes if I'm not around people that's having conversations like this, then that's why we got the good old thing called the iPhone. That's why we got the good old thing called the internet. You can set the tone for a environment. Like your partner come in and you and he'll listen to something like you wouldn't listen to a webinar like this. You listen to something that's how to talk to your partner. If you got a good partner that's quietness is better than aggressiveness and anger. You can work with quietness better than somebody being aggressive and toxic.
Yeah. Because we're saying the things that's gonna scar you for life.
And that's a better ground to work off of versus a toxic person.
Yeah,
so if your partner is quiet, then that means that that's a partner that you got potential to working on your communication. So the best way to do this, like we said, is set a safe environment. One of the safe environments can be podcasts like this. There's plenty of a plethora of information of podcasts like this that have set the groundwork for you guys having an open conversation about emotional availability. Just about being there, just about connecting more. This podcast and other podcasts like this are a foundation that you can start with.
Yeah, and to be truthfully frank, you can get a lot of our new mini courses. Our mini course that we just put out there.
We actually they lays the groundwork and found stable foundation. The rest of the relationships more likely gonna come because you're building on shaky ground.
Without a good foundation with anything you're trying to build, think about it.
It's gonna crumble.
So you gotta have that foundation. You can also use our statements again, which you'll learn. I don't mean to sound like I'm selling because I ain't, but it's what you will learn more about in our new Conflicts to Connection course.
Yeah. And our statements take the pressure off of and the accusations out of conversations. Our statements take the pressure and the accusations out of conversations.
Just think about it saying I, and then you express your concerns and feelings rather than you did this. Imagine just the difference in the response of your partner by just doing it, just imagining it.
Imagine you sitting there having a conversation like that. Pretty soon, like I said, we got to realize that things rub off of you and a group of people, depending on how big your people could be you is, or it could be just you and your partner and stuff. So the smaller group, you still influence other people. So if you start speaking like that, I feel the part where I feel this too. And all of a sudden, y'all using this different habits and different words in the relationship. The whole tone of the conversation. You actually talk more about using I statements.
Yeah.
Because the person don't feel accused, nor do they feel like they accuse you when they say I statements.
Yeah. So while your partner is working on the I statements, you can be working on practicing active listening. Because you're going to be able to actually have to receive what your partner is saying. Right? You're going to have to be able to receive what your partner is saying to, fix it. Or
just to listen, be the ear, you can't fix everything.
No, but to fix the problem that they're concerned, they're coming to you about. And I always be forgetting on that for the partner. It ain't just receiving, it's another word that you say for the partner getting it.
I understand.
That ain't it, but it's one of my favorite words you say. It's okay. Yeah. So practice active listening. Let your partner speak without interruptions and validate their feelings. So if your partner talking, make sure that you speak. Don't speak. Take some time to listen.
And how do you, validate somebody's feelings? I think, like I said, you really got to use validating words like, I feel where you come. You can't say, I feel where you coming from, but.
Oh, yeah.
You don't put a but.
You're right.
Don't put a but in your validating somebody's feelings. Don't put a but. It's a couple of words that you should never put or what I'm saying. I hear you, but what I'm saying is, because that's brushing it off, and now you ready for your. Don't do
And
that.
also, it's not your moment in the spotlight. It's your partner's moment.
Yeah.
So if you hear somebody on the stage or somewhere singing, you think they want you to get up, boo, like interrupting them saying anything to interrupt their performance. It's your partner's spotlight when they're talking to you. It's not your shine.
And like we said, you got to create the safe environment. Like I said, using our step in the last, like I said, in order to create the best way to do it is to have a schedule. Some people like schedule, they go to work on a certain time. So sometimes you might need a schedule. Like we encourage people to do 10 to 15-minute check-ins on a daily basis if you can, weekly basis at the least, but if have to month, but I would say at least 2 times a month.
Yeah.
On the lease.
On the lease. Yeah.
On the lease. When you check in 10 minutes a day and have the ground open for you to express, talk. You got 10 minutes, you can open your mouth to say whatever you want to. And the partner, the people that's listening, they don't need to say no kind of nothing against what the person is talking, saying for at least 10 minutes on a weekly or daily basis. The person that's talking get the full 10 minutes to talk and express themselves in any way they want to. If they don't want to say nothing for those 10 minutes, let it be a quiet 10 minutes. But the goal is to have it regularly, so eventually if you put yourself, you create the space on a regular basis and you cultivate this space, then eventually people will start talking.
Yeah, because when you think about it, there's got to be some power in it because God says pray without ceasing. We know it's way more power in it. So taking some time to actually, like I said, relationships and marriage takes work.
Yeah.
So actually taking some time to do that, like the more you do it,
yeah,
the more better results you'll get.
And I look at relationships.
Well, I'm sorry, not better results. Connection.
Yeah, better connection.
More, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. But I look at relationships just like business, and we are the fortune in business. The fortune is in the follow up, and what that means. Sometimes you don't get it right on the first time. Sometimes you might sit down and reach out to a prospect. They don't say nothing to you, but the more you reach out, not being spammy, but showing content or showing up, the more you reach out, showing up in the inbox or showing up wherever they get, then you'll eventually build that connection. Yeah. And that's the same way when you sit, 15 weekly meetings, check-ins. The more you do it, eventually it's gonna open up, and all of a sudden you're not gonna need to do 15 minutes. You're gonna be able to just set the time, and y'all gonna just talk. Period. It's not gonna be like no set time. It's gonna be okay. Let's go ahead and talk. Y'all gonna naturally come around and start opening up talking.
Yeah, and I mentioned praying without ceasing in the Bible, but I neglected to miss the talk about why. And it's because things always come up, Yeah. So you need to pray daily, consistently. We're supposed to pray daily. Morning,
daily
noon,
bread.
night.
Get us day our daily bread. That means.
Yeah, but the time we gotta do it morning, noon, night. Because something is always coming up, and of course you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You never know. So the more you time that thing. Yeah. And that's why I need to really get to daily too. Happening daily all the time. You don't want to wait.
And you will catch it before things start building up. Because sometimes things start building up, and some people can't handle all that pressure. Mm-hmm. Now their resentment build up. Now it's turned into a concern versus something we could have easily nipped in the butt by having our weekly check-ins early. We could have handled it, but because we avoided, we done kicked the can down the road. We haven't did no check-ins, we did no communication. Now things are turned to a problem. Mm-hmm. First, it was just a small situation. Then we turned into a problem because we're not talking and we're not opening up the grounds for safe, honest communication for a partner to express themselves before they start building up resentment.
Rebuilding connection in the relationship is crucial, and there are several key steps that we can take. First, we can create rituals or activities that both of us enjoy. This is going to help us establish and intimacy.
We on one right now?
Yes. I was gonna say that when you said nip it in the butt, but I was just thinking to myself, should I say that? Make a joke. Oh, you really? Should I make a joke? But I did. But since you said it, yes, we are. Okay. This is an activity we both enjoy. And we've been doing it a lot lately, so it's become a ritual. Slow down. Okay, but we definitely, it's shared memories. Little trips are always shared memories, and it's gonna lead to intimacy. Okay, so second, recall and revisit positive shared experiences and memories.
We do a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
We make memories with traveling, And especially we like the winter travel because it's something about winter travel. There's less people.
That's why I'm saying that's what it is about it. Less people, you get to hog stuff, you get to enjoy the whole beach.
Yeah.
You get everything.
Ooh. Black folks don't be on the beach like that no more. We just go look. Black folks just go
Not
look and take pictures.
Winter.
Even sometimes they go look and take pictures. That's how it is. People go to the beach, they be out there with the fans and everything. They be going, where the fans at?
Oh man. Okay. Thirdly, gradually increase non-sexual physical affection. I love that we have.
The best way to really gradually increase non-sexual intimacy is probably what we talk about.
Yeah.
And you can't just talk about crazy stuff.
Yeah. Make it quality.
You got to be talking about a quality conversation.
Yeah, that's smart.
Like I said, you may need a podcast or something to give you the groundwork. Sometimes you need we don't know what to talk about.
Yeah.
But like we said, a podcast like this is a very good starting point to set the groundwork to open up the conversation. Because some people don't know where to begin to talk about things, to open up things. Podcasts and using your phone to do good, not evil, not looking at that, not trying to be so entertained. That's the crazy thing, guys, because we got to realize every time we go for entertainment and we not go for learning and we're in situations that we need to be learning something, like if I'm in a relationship, my relationship going bad. So instead of me picking up something where I can learn something to improve my relationship, I go look at something toxic on TV that's going to actually damage my relationship. Mm-hmm. You got to pick your battles. You got to choose your heart because whether or not you live now, you in a relationship, and if you want your relationship to work, you got to be intentional about it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's going to unintentionally be an unhealthy relationship.
Yeah, and he's not saying you got to choose your heart, HEART.
Choose your heart.
He's saying you got to choose your hard, HARD. So I'll get that twisted. There's a total difference. Okay, so finally, if you consider. Finally, if you need it, please consider seeking professional help. Through counseling, we recommend coaching, Research shows that, this can improve by 35%.
And that's a good odds because 35% just by getting somebody to help a coach or something, and not only that, then you put your 25%. Or you just being you and being more attentive now, then you got a 50% chance or more than that of making your relationship a whole lot healthier and connected in business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the kids to be intentional and consistent and rebuilding that connection, because that connection is vital to your relationships, health, and growth. And
health of us. Mm-hmm. Our whole life is centered around relationship. And people ask us all this out. They say, Lamont and Tiny, why don't y'all show us how to do business? Because like I said, we end up talking to you like this. But if you guys go on our channel, the first channel started off as business part. We still do that business part. But I know that it's hard to make money. Money is easy. Making money is pretty easy. You can make money. You might depend on the level of money, takes more skill, but making money, the instance of making money is easy. But the less you make is when your mind is clouded. And when you're in a relationship with somebody, it's easy for you to easily get distracted. Now I'm not in my right mind. I'm not thinking clearly. I'm not in a happy state. I'm in a pity state, and now I can't make as much money as I could with a clear head, a clear vision, and somebody I love, and we push into a vision together. We push to a a vision together or separately. But most importantly, I'm in a relationship with somebody I love, so I want to make that so I can be happy in other areas of my life.
All right, so just to reiterate, to rebuild that connection, you need to first create regular rituals or activities that you both enjoy. Secondly, recall and revisit positive shared experiences and memories. Third, gradually increase non-sexual physical affection, like holding hands or, as recommended, talking. Finally, consider seeking professional help through counseling or through couples coaching. And yeah, all that is going to lead to rebuilding a connection.
And it's gonna be a reward that's worth it.
Well worth it.
Well worth it. It's like it's gonna be diamond. And no, diamonds take a lot of pressure. Diamonds take a lot of digging. Diamonds take a lot of work to create. But once you create it, it's a brilliant creation. And that's almost like relationships. It takes work. If you don't want a good relationship, then don't work on it. And you're gonna naturally attract what everybody else get. A relationship that you hate you hate the person after y'all done broke up. And you probably hate the situation once you connected with them because the passion started to fade and you realize, I don't know like it no more. It happens to a lot of people. And it's happened to a lot of people now more than ever because we feel like we got so many options. We feel like the grass is green on the other side. But if you get another relationship, it's gonna be the same. You're gonna show up in that same relationship. Being your same self. And the problems that you didn't fix in this relationship, they carry with you in the next relationship. So it may look good at first, but you still gotta fix the problems. You can't talk on this one, you be like, well, I'm done with that. You can go to the next one, you still gotta fix the problem. You cannot avoid the problem. That's avoidance.
Yes. And with that said, that's why also you need to be aware and intentional about your partner and yourself, because you gotta know when professional help is needed. Seeking that help can be an important step when you struggle with challenges.
Yeah, and I know sometimes it's shameful because we gotta admit that we're not doing so great in our relationship. Sometimes we gotta admit because our partner might be talking to us any kind of way, and you put a perception out there on social media and everywhere else that your relationship is all there. But then when you go behind closed doors, you realize that it's not, and you can't keep lying to yourself because while you lying to everybody else, putting on this fake persona, you individually lying to yourself, and you kind of almost like convincing yourself that your relationship is better than it is, and you don't want to do that. You want to face the truth, because on the other side of shame and discomfort, there's growth. And that's where you want your relationship to be, in the growth state, in the healthy state.
Yep, and if you see any of these signs, seek therapy, constant communication breakdowns, and feeling stuck in negative patterns. You may want to seek some help. Yeah. Okay, therapy can also provide an initial boost in 4 to 6 sessions. And I'm just playing. Offering a safe space for difficult conversation and tools to continue growth at home.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna need to always work on it.
Yeah. And it's a continuous basis. Like I said, here's the thing: the moment you take your foot off the gas, the devil is coming in. So this is food for thought. There's people just that don't mean the next person is. You take your foot off the gas, you got a chance for complacency to step up in your relationship. You got a chance for resentment to step up. You got a chance for the devil to have his way. So it's best to keep your foot on that gas. That means every day I want to watch something that enhances my relationship. And then, like I said, there's so much information out here. Like I said, you can choose entertainment or you can choose growth. But every time you go for entertainment, you can't grow. So you got to choose one. I can be entertained or I can grow. Or I can choose. I can do a grow, then I can do a little entertainment. Like I said, we want you to have your fun, but we got to realize if I'm in a relationship and I want my relationship to go somewhere, then I need to put the work in. I need to use my internet and use my resources to the best of my ability. Yeah. And in the Bible they said talent. Don't bury this talent using it for entertainment, meaning the technology we got, and we don't be using it just for entertainment purposes, because you're gonna find yourself single, and you're gonna find you don't wasted a lot of time here on earth because you was looking to have fun and be entertained so much.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of the time, that's what it goes is too. Things that can entertain you.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like a little fight. Like
Yeah.
either you be entertained, or
yeah,
you may like a fight between good and bad.
And it take a while once you watch something. Like it take a while. You know, it take a while to get you back focused. You know, we got ADHD. Like we got adult ADHD. A lot of people have not been diagnosed. But we got it takes us a while to get back focused once we get distracted. So once we look for entertainment, now we got to get back distracted. It just take a lot to get back on the road when you're supposed to be. And now that the only person that can redeem time is God. So a day that you don't move, you're not going forward, you're coming backwards. Mm-hmm. So keep that in thought.
Yeah, and it's important to find the right fit for you. You can't just go with anybody. So like with me and Lamont, we real down to earth people. You can see we're gonna be ourselves, but we also know what it takes to take a relationship from conflict to connection and all in between. Yeah. Because not only have we lived it, we researched. Yeah, and we do it every day. School, you know, we got the knowledge. And this is what the conversation we having with y'all is the conversation that we kind of have. Like we say, I'm not telling you nothing I'm not doing. Right. I don't take my foot off the gas. Yeah, and we still working, so you know, we're still working on our marriage. Like like on a daily basis, on a successful marriage, not easy. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, but it's rewarding. It's easy. It's rewarding. It's very rewarding. A good relationship is more easy than a bad one. It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, we had to compare it. Yeah. I'd rather work on a good one than not doing nothing. Let my relationship naturally become toxic. Yeah. Or not. You either sinking, striving, or thriving. Yeah. Before I went, no. You can be in a bad relationship with yourself. So you don't need to find anybody else in. Okay, so yeah. Relationships, like we said, they take work. But when we move forward together, we can build something truly. First step is to set clear expectations. Go ahead and discuss them boundaries early. How this should be dating. Communication needs. If you're not taught, like I said, you really don't have to do nothing. You don't do nothing. In my Bernie Mac voice, nothing. Is that Bernie Mac or Jackie Chan? No, Bernie Mac. Nothing. No, that's Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac. Yeah, with a Jackie Chan. Rest of the show, Bernie Mac. Okay. The Players Club. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, if you do nothing, then you're gonna naturally, your relationship is going to be a toxic relationship. Why? Because we got more evil out here than good. Mm-hmm. And I love them little analogies you do when you do nothing. You do nothing. I mean, that be simple, but that's what it is. Yeah, if nothing changes, nothing will change. I can promise you. And your relationship it's going to eventually become unhealthy. If it's not already. It's going to eventually, you're going to be out of that relationship, you're going to be on to the next. Dealing with having the excitement at first, but then all of a sudden going back to the last relationship, going back to the end of the last relationship. If you don't change, and if you don't wake up and be more aware of things that happen, and be aware of yourself, and be more aware of the person you trying to test to. Yeah, and in the process, we want you to celebrate your progress. It's important to celebrate no matter how small. Acknowledge your wins and improvement. What it is? Improvements will ultimately keep you motivated. Continue learning is the key. Continue learning is the key. Read books. You got workshops. You got conferences. It's so many, and here's the thing about the internet. And once you start going down the road, like that, I got a plethora of workshops that we go through
that we can go to about relationships. I got a plethora of trauma and everything else that we need. I got so much. There's so much. So we got so much that we can always continue learning because we live in the internet. So once you go down the road, it's like the world opens you up. It's like if you want to learn, you can learn. If you don't, you don't. But if you go down the road of learning to open up communication, like watch a podcast like this, it's deep. So there's no such thing as you're not learning new skills every day because it's a deep road. So much to learn, man, and it's rewarding because you build a healthy, connected relationship, and you don't be nobody on here that's looking pitiful because they just can't talk or they don't know how they don't want to do the things necessary to do to make the relationship work, but yet they want to be in a relationship. So just the fact that you watching this video, kudos to you. This is the start of you continue learning. It shows that you learning. And you enjoy learning about making your relationship the best it can be.
Yeah, very important to note. Remember that you are in this relationship together with open communication, mutual respect, and a commitment to grow. You can knock out anything in your relationship. All the challenges that come your way.
Yes, it is.
All right. And remember, you got anything else?
Like we said, guys, we're gonna access to the free mini course. The one mini course, like I said, we just better launching it online. We got inside a nice little gamified platform that hopefully keep you engaged so you can actually continue it. But we're gonna give you 7 days to access 10 free small lessons in the mini course, and those small lessons are gonna give you the right perspective so you can build the right foundation for your relationship. So, like I said, it's free. But you got to use it within 7 days. And we're going to soon be selling this course for $147. But you get access to it for free.
Yeah, and it's
Lucky make this far.
Yeah, it's only 100 seats though. So if you get in, congratulations.
And they're gonna fill up fast because, like we said, we do this podcast. I help you with relationship, but my first area of expertise is business. So I do know how to drive traffic. So it's gonna be filled up quick once we start advertising. But I'm trying to give it to the people that's connected to it, like people watching the video, because once I put it on the outside, opens up to the public, I know the doors are gonna close quick, and I know it's gonna grow quick because we know how to advertise, and we got a little bit of money, so it's gonna go. So get in now while you can, and we'll love to see you deeper on the other side if you like what you see.
Yep, this has been another episode of Visions of Love and Relationships. They had vision.
And together,
they built
the life that they love. Who build?
In the city lights, we shine so bright. Tanya in the months, we're in the limelight. Sharing stories on our podcast every night. Spreading love and soul, our words take flight. Talking about love, we keep it real and raw. Through the ups and downs, we stand tall. Our voices blend like a sweet harmony, touching hearts, creating unity. Dive deep into emotions, no filter inside. Tanya's honesty, on soulful insight. Exploring love's highs and lows. It's our mission, connecting souls to heartfelt conversation.